Welcome to our presentation on building chatbots using transformers. My name is Vikrant Bhosle and I'm completing the Masters in Data Science program. I'm super excited to share with you some of the findings that we had related to chatbots, their evolution, and finally an approach that we experimented with. So let's go to the motivation. Uh, so the biggest reason is businesses of today need best in class customer service and support. Customers need quick answer and resolution to their problems, and they do not have the time and bandwidth to wait on phone lines for the correct customer service representatives to answer their queries. And in some situations, this could be a make or break factor for businesses. Then there are several personal assistants like Alexa, Siri, etc., and the bar is growing higher day in and day out. To add to it, the cost of customer service and call centers are just going up every day. So basically, this brings us to chatbots. A chatbot is a software application used to conduct an online chat conversation via text or text to speech, just like a human agent would communicate. So, this is like the formal definition. However, the chatbots of today are not sophisticated enough to human level, and that is the problem that we were looking at. This drove us into exploring more on how these chatbots were developed and their evolution. Let's take a look. So many of these chatbot architectures were built decades back, and they were like set in an era which faced like computing challenges. The data was also not abundant. So some of these sort of traditional methods use things like bag of words, search and ranking algorithms, TF-IDF, etc. And then some of them use language processing techniques, and which like work to some extent. However, the big problem with these was they did not have the sequential information. So you can imagine a statement like Vikrant eats to live would be same as Vikrant lives to eat, if the sequence is not maintained, which is not true. So then that brings us to sequence models. They were originally created to translate sequences from one domain to sequences to another domain. They introduced this important concept of encoder decoders, which is still used, uh, and they were also used for like language translations. But the big problem that they faced or like still face is the problem of vanishing or exploding gradients. But the concept of vanishing gradients is that once the sequences grow larger, the problem is the gradients for the farther layers, like the previous layers, start becoming smaller and smaller over a period of time. And as a result, those nodes actually don't get trained very quickly. So that cell doesn't get trained very quickly, and simple intuition to think of it is like a derivative of a derivative is much smaller. So next, then we look at LSTMs and GRUs, which also fix this problem to some extent. LSTM is long short term memory and GRU is gated recurrent units. The design had special gates which make sure to send some important data to the further layers, and they worked pretty decent. However, the problem was they are difficult to train, and again, like they have long gradients, so like it's costly to train them as well. And the biggest problem was they were not easy for transfer learning, and they were like very special, like specialized for a specific domain. As a result, like you cannot just take a model, basically something like BERT, on some other known network and just use it for your purpose. So that is the big problems with LSTM. And this brings us to like using attention for chatbots. So in simple words, basically it is training a model to identify which part of the previous sequence to pay attention to in predicting the response. A quick example is, consider these two sentences: the tiger ate the deer as it was hungry versus the tiger ate the deer as it was slow. So in the first case, the tiger ate the deer as it was hungry. The word it is related to tiger. And the second case, tiger ate the deer as it was slow. The word it is related to deer. So as humans, we understand this concept because we know which specific area to pay attention to, but the algorithm and chatbots don't understand this concept, and this is the whole idea behind like using attention, and attention is the main concept behind transformers. So next we go to our approach. So basically the approach we took is we use like the transformers networks for building chatbot. There has been some really great work, have been some really great papers and examples where people have implemented this, so we use those and we enhance that work. So the credit should go to those folks, which I would actually share at the end. So let me quickly explain the different parts of this architecture. So as you see there, this might look a little complicated, and it is, but the important part to consider here is the attention, like the scale dot product attention. So here what it means is like we call Q, which is, it stands for query, which is the output token. K is the input token, which is like the key, and V is the relevance. So basically we are taking a dot product, masking it, and applying a softmax function to it. So we are like sort of learning the way we are giving relevance scores to these two terms between input and output token. That is the thing. So the next interesting thing is the multi-head attention. So uh, in simple words, what it means is like instead of just paying attention to one thing or one word, like we can look at two or three different things to pay attention to in the previous sequence. So in our case, the like the value was 4, so we paid attention to 4 things. The next thing is positional encoding. So if you can note, like the scale dot product attention is basically will turn into a bag of words kind of model if there is no sequential information retained, because like it's just a bunch of words. So we need to get the sequential information. So the way this network does this is basically what we are doing is like using sine and cosine frequencies on the embeddings of the tokens. So basically that ways the like the network is able to calculate which token is in what position relevant to other tokens. For example, like if a token is at a frequency of let's say 1000 versus like 2000, you can imagine it could be slightly like where it could be relevant to the other token. So that is the concept, and this was again like introduced in the paper, and there is some great work done in this. We barely used those concepts. So then the next part is like we need a data set to do this like computation. So we wanted to get a data set which is not related to a specific domain or a company, otherwise like the examples are not very interesting, and also like they are very there may be like other issues related to legal and compliance things. So we use the Cornell movie database data set, which is freely available. This was very useful. There's a very rich set of dialogues over there. So it is basically a set of utterances like one after another, like there are multiple conversations. If you can see, there are like 617 movies and almost 300,000 utterances. So this is big enough to train our network. So it was very helpful. Next, like we trained this network, and like let's go to a quick demo in this time frame. So I am going to show you like predicting some of simple words. So for example, a word like the sentence like how are you, it says okay, where are you, we don't see you, who are you, I'm Mimi, I'm dying. So some of these like don't make complete sense, and in a way it's because they are like it may be missing the context information, but it's still a good proper English. Now let's try a really random question, because we don't want to just use it for a test question. So let's take this thing. What is something you have done that you wish you could undo? It's a really complex question. I'm pretty sure it's going to go with some weird this thing. Oh well, yeah. What did I do for a while? This is still a good conversation, but it may not answer the question. So yeah, so we also had a lot of fun doing this work. So this is an example of that. So yeah, coming back to the findings and conclusion. So basically transformers are a great way for building chatbots, And I would like to also highlight, like, we did some enhancements. One of the things was, the original model used to use only two utterances, the first and second. So we made it such that, like, we carried over the context as well, from like every utterance. So that actually helped increase the accuracy from 15% in like barely 40 epochs versus 10% in 50 epochs, which the original design had. And finally, like, we would like to also conclude that chatbots do have a great future, and transformer technology in general, irrespective of chatbots, does have like very interesting usages. We also feel that in future we will see more complex architectures when they are combined with other type of architectures, maybe like reinforcement learning or something else. So looking forward for a great future there. uh, and finally, I would like to also bring it to attention, like, a lot of this work has been inspired by the folks who have done this work. There were papers over here, so we would like to thank them as well. That's all. Thanks for the paying attention to our presentation. Have a great evening.